Kawaki is a fraud in more than one way, and people are slowly starting to realize that this is actually the case. It started with Sasuke, who figured out that his memories were changed, then Amato, and now Shikamaru, the Hokage of the Leaf Village, technically. So is it over for Kawaki? Does this now mean that the omnipotence is going to get reversed by the end of this arc? This is what we're going to be discussing in today's video. Everything that has to do with Kawaki's fraudulent allegations and the omnipotence potentially getting reversed. One of the most repetitive things that we have seen in the time skip so far is that people have some doubts about Kawaki. And these doubts were discussed in that 3-year skip, the time skip that we have seen, as Sumire tells us that they were trying to convince people over and over again about what had happened, but nobody would believe them. Which Ida then tells us that we have to let them figure it out on their own, because if you go and tell people that Kawaki is not who he says he is, everybody is going to look at you like you are crazy, just like how Shikamaru initially thought that Sarada was actually crazy and were jeopardizing her goal of becoming the Hokage. But just like Ida said, when people themselves start to see the inconsistencies, they will realize that there is something going on. And the high IQ people like Sasuke, Amato, and Shikamaru are some of the first people to actually be able to notice some of these inconsistencies. As we have Shikamaru in chapter 6 of Boruto to the Vortex, who actually figures out that Kawaki is not the one who he says he is. So what is Shikamaru going to do from now on? Is the omnipotence going to get reversed right now? This is not the case, because the first thing that we have been said after we figure out that Shikamaru actually believes that Boruto is the son of Naruto and not Kawaki, he says that he can't publicly support Boruto because it would cause problems, and different people will reject Shikamaru's ideas, which could eventually lead to Shikamaru no longer being the 8th Hokage. So now the question is, what exactly is Shikamaru going to do now that he has figured out that Kawaki is not the one who he says he is? The first thing that we notice is that Shikamaru actually asks Boruto for help. And why is that? Is it because of the village dire need for extra funds, and we find out that the village is basically broke? Or is it that he has figured out something else? We know that Shikamaru already found out that Boruto is actually the son of Naruto and not Kawaki, but I believe that due to this revelation that Shikamaru has now had, he believes that there could actually be some other inconsistencies, and that has to do with Naruto, and is another reason why Shikamaru is not the official Hokage, because he believes that Naruto is still alive. And Shikamaru isn't the only person who still believes that Naruto is alive, as Hima is another person who somehow still feels like Naruto is there, and this is probably due to their ninshu connection between daughter and father, but Shikamaru also had a great relationship with Naruto, so they are definitely connected in some sort of way. Like Shikamaru finding out that Kawaki is not who he says he is, and that Naruto's body and Hinata's body was never found, Shikamaru must also have seen these different inconsistencies. Like Kawaki having a lot of love for Naruto, he knows that Kawaki literally risked his life multiple times to go and protect Naruto. Now, due to the omnipotence, he sees Kawaki as Boruto, so he must have asked himself, why would Boruto go and kill the person that he loves so much, the person who helped him out, the person who gave him a family? Why would Boruto go and kill that father figure that he must see himself as? These are some of the questions that must have been in Shikamaru's mind, which is why he believes that Naruto is still somewhere out there. And Shikamaru never said that his goal is to save Naruto. He never said that. But we can already start seeing the hints that this all has to do with Naruto, because we go back to Boruto saying something to Sarada before he left. He said that he wanted to say something to Sarada but was going to come back and say it later after he finished talking with Shikamaru and now has to fight Mitsuki. What I believe that Boruto was trying to tell Sarada, he was trying to tell Sarada that he is also going to save his father and mother, being Naruto and Hinata. And when later on in that conversation, Boruto talks with Shikamaru, Shikamaru also wants Boruto's help. And I believe that Shikamaru wants Boruto's help to save Naruto. So both of them are on the same page, but Boruto refuses to work with Shikamaru. But we'll see how this plot ends up developing in the next chapter. But Shikamaru and Boruto have the same goal, but Boruto refuses to work with Shikamaru. This is a very interesting plot point that you guys have to pay attention to. But this is not the most important part, as this video is about Kawaki and the troubles that he is dealing with. Kawaki set himself up to fail from the very beginning, and this is about Kawaki lying about Naruto being killed. All of it could have really worked out, and there would be less inconsistencies if Kawaki didn't lie that Naruto was killed by Boruto. This lie made it very hard for people like Shikamaru to really believe that Naruto was killed. Not because of how strong he is, we know that Naruto was nerfed after losing Kurama, but he was still a powerhouse. But the fact that his body was never found is the part that must definitely make other people like Shikamaru truly question Kawaki. And this isn't the only problem that Kawaki has done. Kawaki seems a little too relaxed in the time skip. He believes that everything is going according to plan. All he has to do is continue living as if he is Boruto, and it doesn't seem like he has worked towards achieving his goal. Different Otsutsuki that we have currently seen. However, Kawaki doesn't seem to have worked on it during the time skip. Kawaki hasn't met Code in the time skip. Kawaki hasn't met Boruto in the time skip. For what we know, they haven't fought in the time skip. And this is quite alarming for Kawaki, who seems to be very goal oriented. He hasn't worked on this goal of getting rid of all these various Otsutsukis. Why is that? One, we know that Kawaki has been living the life. Kawaki has been going around. He is the Hokage's son. He is pulling different chicks because of the notoriety of being Naruto's son. We know that the entire village messed with Boruto a lot ever since he helped in defeating Momoshiki, Ishiki, and all these various opponents. Kawaki has taken all that clout and it has become his and his alone. Boruto is no longer in the village, so there is nothing to deal with. Kawaki has become a little too relaxed in the time skip, and this can be seen in the fact that Kawaki was the one who was hit by one of the clawgrams, unlike Boruto, and had to rely on his karma. Kawaki is the one who is currently sleeping while Boruto is roaming in the village, and Mitsuki is the one who's going to be taking care of Boruto. This is very alarming, and the fact that we have these 4 Shinshu that are out there and can come into the village out of nowhere, this is not a good sign. Mitsuki and Boruto are out of the village, and Jura can pop in, and all these different Shinshu, they can pop into the village, and you can't tell me that Sarada is going to be the one to deal with all of these different threats. If Kawaki doesn't wake up now and start actually working on his goals, he is going to be left behind, and everything that he has built so far, everything will crumble. Even with the power of the gods, if one is not diligent, he will lose everything, as Kawaki might lose everything just like Boruto did. And this all has to deal with the omnipotence potentially getting reversed. So how could it actually end up happening? So how would the reversal of the omnipotence actually make sense? So right now there are 2 theories that have been shown to work. There is the Ida method, and there is the Sasuke/Naruto method. So let's discuss the Ida method. Ida's method and Ida's proposal for Sarada and Sumire was for the omnipotence to be used again and change the memories once again. We have Kawaki, who would go back to the Kawaki he was to everybody in the past, and Boruto would go back to becoming Naruto's son. This is what would happen if we use the Ida method. But there are a couple risks. We know that 1, Ida cannot control omnipotence, and this happened by accident. And the second thing we know is that Ida said it herself, there may be some negatives and drawbacks if she uses the omnipotence again. She doesn't know how it would affect the people that it is cast on. Something negative could happen to them, which will result in the omnipotence failing or not working in the way that it was intended. This is the first way that the omnipotence could be reversed. But the Sasuke and Naruto method is the one that I believe is going to be the true way that the omnipotence is going to be reversed. According to Sasuke, Boruto's current condition is just like Naruto's old situation. He was blamed for the death of the 4th Hokage because he had the 9 Tails beast, which killed the 4th Hokage alongside many other shinobi who was sealed inside of him, as he had Kurama and was a 9 Tails Jinchuriki, so people hated him off the rip, and there was nothing that Naruto could do. Naruto would pop into the village, people would throw things at him, they wouldn't let their children play with Naruto. Naruto was ostracized. We see him chilling by himself a lot of the time, not having a lot of friends. And Boruto finds himself in a similar situation. Obviously, he is not in the village, but when he comes into the village, we have people like Mitsuki who are ready to fire on him. We have people like Kawaki who are ready to fight him. Boruto is fighting for his life whenever he steps into the Leaf Village. So now the question that you may ask is, how exactly would the omnipotence be reversed using this method? The method that I am talking about is the method that Naruto used to gain the acceptance of the Leaf. Naruto's acceptance by the people in the Leaf Village is clearly seen after the Pain arc, after he fought for the Leaf Village. Even after the Hokage was completely exhausted, Naruto is the one who stood tall, risked his life to protect a village full of people that hated him. Ever since that moment, Naruto was respected. Naruto's actions got him the acceptance that he desired, which allowed Naruto to be loved in the village and continue fighting for it. I believe that something similar could actually end up happening, where through Kawaki and Boruto's actions, where they see a Boruto who risks his life to protect the village and complete his goals, and we have a Kawaki who doesn't really care about the lives of the villagers. As he have said, his only priority is making sure that Naruto is safe. He doesn't care about anything else and would risk even his brother to maintain the fact that Naruto is alive and well. Beloved or hated, Kawaki in a sense is actually right. Kawaki's philosophy is moral in some sort of way, as Kawaki follows the philosophy of consequentialism, which deals with the morality of an action only being determined by its consequence. So Kawaki killing Boruto would be logical because it would allow Naruto to live. This is how Kawaki rationalizes his ideals. And to be honest, there is no real way of saying that Kawaki is wrong or right, because you could say that killing Boruto would prevent a lot of people from dying, as Boruto is an Otsutsuki that still has Momoshiki inside of him. So if Momoshiki is to take over, he could potentially destroy this entire planet. There is a big difference from sacrificing an entire planet than sacrificing one person, and Kawaki decided to sacrifice one person, which is Boruto, and make sure that Naruto was alive. This is how he rationalizes these ideas. And this is why you have to understand these goals and philosophies that Kawaki currently has, as Kawaki's goal seems to have changed in the time skip. As in the time skip, he doesn't say that he wants to kill Boruto, but that he wants to send Boruto to a different dimension. And this is why you have to watch this video right here, as I dissect Kawaki's entire philosophy, and you have to understand his philosophy in order to understand the things that will come into the time skip.